Now, some one of the key feature that actually what I do with my webinar over here is before I start with my entire course, I make sure that I break it down into number of sizable pieces so that we can actually discuss things step by step. So let me show what is the agenda of this entire session over here. First, we are going to talk about the recruitment process, because majority of you guys might actually be going in for your placement in another couple of months time, or maybe a year time or so. um, I just wanted, I have a small question to you guys. Can you guys just tell me which year you guys are in, or which semester you guys are in? You just tell me which year you are. Are you in your first year, second year, or third year, or fourth year? Just tell me one, two, three, or four, so I can actually position it according to you. All right, we have second year, third year, first year, second year, third. All right, so we kind of have a mixed crowd over here. Okay, all right. So we have some people from fourth year as well. All right, if you have finished your studies as well, that's perfectly fine. You're definitely going to learn something out of this particular course that you're going to see. Uh, See, for people who are in your college right now, you are actually maybe in another couple of months' time or years' time, you will actually go and sit in front of a particular person who will say, I am actually going to provide you with a job. So you are supposed to impress me so that I am actually going to give you that particular job. All right. So for that, I am actually going to come under extreme pressure, because see, majority of us have actually chosen our college over here just because of possibility of getting a very good job. So many of us might be in education loan and all those things, so it is very important for me to actually understand, or at the same time maybe even provide you guys with that particular knowledge where you can actually perform really very good in your recruitment process so that you guys can get a job. All right, so recruitment process, the very first thing that we are actually going to talk about is the recruitment process. Second one, we are actually going to talk about what is the importance of group discussion and personal interview. So see, I was an introvert. I'm not an introvert right now, but I was an introvert earlier. So I know personally, I know the importance of a group discussion and personal interview. I used to think, why is group discussion and personal interview there in a recruitment process? I know I am extremely skilled. I know I have good knowledge over the product or the technologies, but so why are they conducting group discussion and personal interviews? So here we are actually going to discuss about that as well. We'll talk about what and all are the evaluation metrics which are actually used for group discussion and personal interview. First, we are going to talk about some strategies to perform really good in group discussion. Then we'll go for strategies for personal interview. And then finally, we're going to have a question and answer session. So during the question and answer session, I want you guys to be very open and free and frank to ask me any question that you guys have in your mind. I might not be able to unmute you guys over there as well. So you guys might have to type it down so that I can read it and I can explain that. Do not worry, I will not disclose any particular name over here. All right. So placement process. One of the biggest myth in terms of recruitment process or placement process is that whenever a company is actually coming to your campus, people think that it is a process of selecting candidates for their company, right? I'll repeat this again for you guys. When a company is coming to a campus, people think that the campus, the company is actually here in your college to select students. No, that is completely wrong. A company is not there in your campus to select students. Rather, they're actually there to eliminate the students who are there in your campus, right? So there should be a lot of students in your campus. So they are actually going to eliminate students out of that entire lot, right? Out of that entire lot, they're going to eliminate them, and they are going to actually finally have a set of students whom they're actually going to recruit. So a placement process or a campus recruitment process is a process of elimination. All right, let's talk about what and all other rounds that you guys will go through. First, you will have an aptitude round, which might be paper or pen based, online based, or whatever it is. It's the different companies have their own you know process or methodology. First is going to be an aptitude round. Second is going to be your group discussion. for all those students who are actually clearing their aptitude round. See the cubes that you actually see in front of you, right? Number of students who attended aptitude round and the number of students who are attending group discussion are going to be extremely different. They are going to be very different over here. Approximately around 33 percentage, that is one third of the entire students are actually going to get eliminated in their aptitude round. Then there comes the group discussion, where around 8 to 12 people per batch are actually going to be called in for inside a room. They'll be given a particular topic and they'll be asked to discuss on that particular topic. So that is group discussion. And then there is going to be a general HR interview. Again, one third of that particular students are actually going to get eliminated in a group discussion. Then they go for their HR interview. HR interview is technically the last round for many companies, right? For many companies, HR interview is technically the last round where they ask you questions with respect to your attitude, aptitude, your problem solving skills, and general HR questions they ask over there. If it is an IT company, you might or might not have a technical interview. So finally, if you see, the recruitment process is where the number of students are getting reduced step by step. Step by step. All right, so I have some questions already over here. Yeah, so the reason why they're actually doing elimination is because, yes, of course, it is going to be easy for them. All right, that's correct. I'm just seeing your reply right now, right? I'm just telling it. So the reason, the process that you actually see when you're actually finding fault in someone and eliminating it, that reduces the amount of pressure in your head, like one of the candidate right now actually mentioned. So if you see this very, very carefully, the final recruited person is going to be somewhere at around 1/10 of the actual crowd. 10% of the students are the person who are actually going to get jobs, right? So this is actually the recruitment process or the placement process over here. Let's talk about the evaluation metrics. When a particular company is actually going to recruit someone into their particular company over there, they actually see that they are looking for some set of skills or some set of qualities in the students over here. Let's see what and all are they step by step. First, communication skills. Let me ask you guys something like this. Let me give myself as an example right now. My name is Kiran Sharma, right? Just because I have a Sharma in my name, I'm not a North Indian. I am born and brought up in Kerala. I'm born and brought up in Kerala. I did my higher studies and college in Tamil Nadu. So I am pretty good with Malayalam and I'm very good with Tamil as well. All right. So since I have a North Indian background, I am very good with Hindi as well. All right. So I know Punjabi also. So if I am supposed to go and work in a place like, let's say, Hyderabad, right? If I had to go and work in a place like Hyderabad, what happens to me? Can I use Malayalam over there? No. Can I use Tamil over there? No. Can I use Punjabi over there? No. Can I use Hindi over there? I might possibly, maybe I can use Hindi over there. I can definitely use Hindi over there. But what actually happens is that not every single person in Hyderabad might be good at Hindi. So ultimately, for me to survive in a city like Hyderabad, I might definitely have to know English, right? For me to converse with people in Hyderabad or any city, be that West Bengal or be that any part of our country, I need to know either the local language or English. This very must for me to actually survive. So they are actually going to look for a good communication skills. So with respect to your communication skills, I just want you guys to actually understand this. It is not about you guys able to speak like Mr. Shashi Tharoor. Like, I'm sure many of you guys know Shashi Tharoor. If you guys don't know Shashi Tharoor, if you guys could just Google, you go to YouTube and search Shashi Tharoor's speech, you will understand what I'm actually talking about. It is super awesome to listen to this guy speak. All right. So Shashi Tharoor, or let's not talk about Shashi Tharoor. Let's just be very broad over here. I don't want someone with very, very excellent communication skill. This is not what I'm actually looking for. I am looking for someone who could actually communicate the idea in their head to me using some set of English words. If that person can communicate a particular data or information to me using speech, that is communication for me. It is not only speech, it could also be with respect to written form of communication as well. in a written form or a vocal way, if someone can actually convey a particular idea or information to me, that is communication skill. So they are looking for that particular skill. All right. Now, problem solving skills. Problem solving skills is as simple as you able to do mathematics. That is one problem solving. But at the same time, another problem solving skill over here that we are actually discussing about is going to be with respect to you able to take decisions under extreme circumstances, right? Extreme circumstances, I'm talking about some, let's say, let's take some case studies over here. With those case studies, if you are able to take some good decisions, if you are able to take some good decisions, find a solution to a particular situation, that is problem solving skills. One of the problem solving skill question which I received in one of my interview was something like this. Indigo Airlines was actually looking to expand their aircraft fleet or their their business. So they wanted to find how many airports that they can connect. They gave me some data over here. I cannot show that right now. They gave me some data with the number of airports, number of passengers traveling between airports. They wanted me to optimize the best possible plan for them to actually tackle the highest profitability. That's a problem that they give. It's a case study. If many of you, if any of you guys have done your MBA, this might have been one of your case study in your MBA as well. So these kind of problem solving, you have a problem, you're able to find a solution for that. Qualification. If you are sitting in front of a particular HR and answering his or her questions, you are qualified with respect to your college, school, your graduations, and your marks over there. But that is not what they all see. They also see your extracurricular activities and your co-curricular activities. When I say extracurricular activities, other than your college and school, what and all are the other certification courses and what and all are the other courses that you actually studied. For example, if I am from electronics and communication engineering, and if I'm good with programming, let's say I'm good with Python and PHP maybe, right? Which means I have an extracurricular skill of programming as well. So which gives more weightage to me, which shows me different from all my other students, other friends who are actually attending that particular interview. I mean, that's co-curricular activity. Now coming to extracurricular activity, extracurricular activity will be something like, for example, let's say you are good in cricket. If you're good in chess, or you've got a lot of prize with respect to chess or carom board, or you've done a lot of management programs and all those things, those are not going to be your extracurricular activities. So companies are looking for people not only good in their studies or what is actually offered in their college and school, people who are willing to learn other than what is being offered. So that comes under qualification. Further, finally, we are actually having this other skills. When I'm actually talking about other skills, what I'm actually mentioning over here is going to be your body language, your attitude, your personality, the way you carry yourself, the way you behave in front of people, these kind of things, right? The soft skills is what we actually say. These are the four parameters under which every single person is evaluated when it comes to a campus placement. Right now, before we start with the strategies of group discussion, I have a small question for you guys. Right, not a question for you guys. I just want to ask you guys, till now whatever we discussed, is there any doubts? Do you guys have anything to ask me? Am I being very fast? Am I being very slow? Or should I just carry on with what I'm actually doing right now, the pace that we are actually going? Can you guys just mention that for me? I'll wait for another 5-10. All right, I understand. People are actually saying that the speed in which it is actually going is perfectly fine. All right. So let's continue with what we're actually doing over here. All right. Let's talk about strategies of group discussion. Now, strategies of group discussion is actually very important over here. So there are some strategies I want you guys to follow when it actually comes for group discussion. I might actually start moving from one point to another point with a particular pace over here. If you guys feel that we need to discuss one particular point much further, I want you guys to tell me over here. Very first thing, paper and pen. Any reason you guys say that we are supposed to carry a paper and pen for a personal interview or a group discussion? Can you guys tell me? Correct. The reason that you're supposed to carry a paper and pen for your group discussion is because for example, let me give myself as an example over here again. So I don't know many of you guys, so let me give myself as an example right now. Uh, when I usually, when I actually work with people on a daily basis, I have approximately around 8 to 10 meetings per day. I have 8 to 10 meetings with client. At the same time, I have meetings with my team members as well, and all these people. So it is very important for me to actually take notes of every single thing which is actually discussed in that particular meeting. A group discussion is something like replication of a meeting that you have in a office. So where what this particular invigilator or HR is actually looking for is nothing but, if at all there is a meeting, if this person is part of a meeting, will this person contribute for that meeting? This is what they're actually going to see. So carrying a paper and pen with you, or a notebook and pen with you, actually shows that you are ready for that meeting and you're prepared to listen and contribute for that meeting. It is not directly you declaring that I am contributing, but the HR or the invigilator over there is able to see it and understand. So don't just carry it with you. When you have it in your hand, might as well take some notes as well. So whoever be the person who is actually speaking, always take notes of whatever is the point which is actually being discussed over there. The next point, be the first person to start. In a group discussion, it is very important, or having a huge advantage, if you are someone who is actually starting this particular group discussion. The reason being, see, for example, let's say, let's take a movie for example. All right, let's take Avengers. See, I'm a huge fan of Marvel Studios, right? Marvel Comics. So the Avenger Endgame that you guys actually saw, who was the very first hero that you guys actually saw in that particular movie? Who was that particular very first superhero that you guys saw in that movie? Can you guys tell me? As soon as the movie started, who was the very first person to actually come in the screen? Let's see how many of you guys actually seen that movie. I'm still waiting for your response. It could be anyone. I mean, if whatever is the okay, people are saying Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man. All right, a lot of you guys are saying Iron Man over here. Correct. Okay. Who is Joey Russo? I don't know who is Joey Russo. Okay, see, the very first person, I mean, a lot of close to like around 70, 80 people of you guys have actually told Iron Man. I'll tell you guys the reason why it is actually registered in your mind. The reason being that the very first person who comes in a particular movie, or yes, Robert Downey Jr., correct, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, whoever it is, yes, exactly. So the very first person who is going to start a group discussion or a particular event, that particular person's name is going to get registered in your mind, right? See, when you are actually in for a group discussion, what actually happens is that the invigilator might have a evaluation sheet where all your names are actually written. So if the invigilator is actually going to write your point, you are the very first person on whom he or she is going to enter some comment or valuation. The person actually will get your name registered in their mind. It actually shows that you have the guts, or you have the capability to actually start something, right? So that's the reason why I say be the first person to start a group discussion. if you feel a particular topic to be very new to you guys and you don't know what that topic is, and then if you might ask me like how will I start a group discussion if I don't even know what that particular topic is, in that case, the luck is not in your favor. Then don't start the group discussion. Don't be the first person to start the group discussion. If you know the topic, then try your level best to be the first person to talk in that particular group discussion. If else you don't know what the topic is, don't start. All right, let's go to the next part. Use something called as spelt approach. If you have a paper and pen in front of you guys, please take a note of it or take a screenshot of this particular screen over here. It is SPELT approach. Spelt approach can actually determine your knowledge level over here. So for you to show that you're extremely knowledgeable person, you can use this particular approach called as spelt approach, which is SPELT. SPELT stands for social, political, economic, legal, and technology. Why should I actually use this spelt approach over here? The reason that you guys can actually use spelt approach, okay, I have some questions already. What are those questions? Uh, it's special. All right, I guess maybe it's special. I don't understand what you mean by special, but it's okay. I mean, if you feel that it's special, it's special. All right, definitely. Now, if let's say you are using spelt approach, it is social, political, economic, legal, and technology. Now I'll show you the speciality of this particular topic over here. I want you guys to suggest me a particular group discussion topic, right? A group discussion topic. If you guys could actually suggest me a topic, I can use the spelt approach and show you guys. Can you guys provide me with a topic? What do you think? Can you guys give me a sample topic to work on? I do have some topics. Okay. Uh, social special. I'm sorry. I guess there is a small spelling over here. It's social. It's not special. It's social, guys. I'm sorry. Social only. Money is essential or not? Indian economy, digital India. Yeah, I'm sorry for that spelling error over there, guys. I mean, it's not special. It is social only. Arranged marriage or love marriage? That's a debate, guys. I'm sorry. Demonetization. Give me something awesome, guys. Give me something, out of the box. If current affairs, current affair is a very vast topic for me to select from him. If you could, COVID-19. Uh, Chalo, theek hai. We'll take COVID-19 itself. All right, we'll take COVID-19 for a situation right now. We'll take COVID-19 right now. Okay, so if in a group discussion, there are more suggestions. Let me just see. Right now, one of the shortlisted one is COVID-19. How Corona influence all department? Okay, how Corona influence all departments. So I'm just considering that under COVID-19 over here. Uh, Future India. Future India is again a very broad topic to actually discuss on. Uh, for the time being, many of you guys actually suggested COVID-19 over here. I'll just take COVID-19 as an example. In a group discussion, if you guys are going for a group discussion, if let's say you guys are getting your topic as COVID-19, you can use the spelt approach to write some 5 to 6 points on each of these aspects. First, if you have to mention with respect to social aspect, if you have to mention with respect to social aspect, you can talk about all the social distancing that is happening. You can talk about how supermarkets and all these things are actually using these circular lines to actually get people inside. What kind of approaches these social areas are actually using to avoid this COVID-19. If you to talk about political aspect, you can say something like this. See, majority of the countries outside are actually blaming one particular country in this world. I'm not going to name which country it is. Of course, we all know which country it is. One of the country to actually be the reason why this COVID-19 is actually existing right now. Right? If you guys feel that, if you guys know which country I'm talking about, please comment down over here as well. Right? So one of the country in this world to be the reason why COVID-19 came into existence. So there is a lot of pressure which has actually been put into that particular country. A lot of pressure has actually been put into that particular country for the for the reasons and different yeah. All what you guys are saying is exactly correct, but this being a common affair over here, I don't want to name a particular country over here, right? So you can talk about that for a political reason. Let's talk about economic reason. I'll take my own company as an example to you guys, right? See, I have approximately around 23 people working in my company, right? I have 23 people working in my company. We took a co-working space to actually work. So we have one co-working space in Bangalore and one co-working space here in Coimbatore where we actually work. So two co-working spaces where we are actually working. So due to this lockdown, we are not there in our office for the past 3 months or so. For the past 3 months, we are actually not going to office. So we are not providing rent to this particular company, right? The co-working place where we actually taken this place, we are not actually giving rent to them because we have vacated that particular place. So I can actually say for one particular industry like a co-working space, the economy or their business has come down drastically. At the same time, let me talk about airlines as well. All these restrictions and all these things going on right now, because of which airline industries are uh, right, yeah, I mean, all people are getting very particular with the country and the labs over here. All right, so all these countries, all these airline industries, they are not actually operating their flights. That industry is getting affected. Export and import is getting affected. You know, supermarkets and malls and theaters are not working. So gradually, the economy of a country is coming down slowly, right? That is a particular problem. If I were to talk about legal aspects, now this is a condition where a lot of states in our country is supposed to join hands. All the states in our country is supposed to join hands to tackle this particular problem. If you see very particularly, West Bengal is not providing a lot of support to our central government. That is creating a lot of legal issues. In the meantime, there is a lot of problem with respect to law and order. A lot of theft is actually happening, police brutalities. I mean, so one example is like what you guys see recently over here, right? Let's not specify something. All these legal issues are also happening. If I were to talk about technology, I'm sure majority of you guys would have had Arogya Setu app installed in your particular mobile phones. All right. So our government has come up with this initiative of Arogya Setu, one particular app, where using that particular app, the government tracks your movement. The government is actually tracking your movement, and of course, yes, Tamil Nadu issues. Yes. Now, government is actually tracking your movement and making sure that you are not getting affected. That is with respect to technology. Not only this, there is a lot of different other aspects that you can actually talk about. I took around like what 2 minutes time to actually explain these things. In a group discussion, you might get around like what around 2 or 3 minutes time to actually prepare. So you might, if you're focusing on something, you can actually write down like 5 or 6 points on each of these aspects. So you are the first person to start. You have used spelt approach to actually come up with the content, which means when you are actually going to speak something, you are making extremely good sense over here, right? The next point that I'm actually going to talk about is going to be a leader. When I say be a leader, when I say be a leader, what I'm actually going to talk about is actually give empathy to people who are there in that particular group discussion. Try to encourage people to contribute their points, right? I'm talking with respect to, for example, a simple points. You guys already know it. If there is someone who's actually there in a particular group discussion who's not speaking at all, you guys can provide them with that particular empathy, or you guys can provide that person with that particular confidence to speak. You can ask that person to speak. Be a leader of that particular sort. All right. Now maintain a good body language. So maintaining a good body language, as simple as when you guys are sitting, I don't want you guys to completely lean back and sit. All right. Okay, we have some questions over here. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, so one question which was asked was, what if I don't know what the topic is? We already discussed that, ma'am. If you do not know a particular topic about which we are discussing over here, not a problem. Don't be the first person to start. If you are actually using spelt approach as well, you wait for someone to start, listen to what that person is speaking, and based on which you guys can actually start speaking. All right. Now, maintaining a good body language. Again, maintaining a good body language is what I'm actually talking about. Is going to be with respect to you able to, what do I say? Uh, Sit properly, maintain good eye contact, showing good gestures. These kind of things. So use that particular process to maintain a good body language over here. And then finally, we have try to conclude. You are the first person to start. You are also going to be the first person to conclude a particular group discussion. Now, why should I conclude? Right now, the same question I'm going to ask over here, right? The same question that I'm actually going to ask over here. Who is the best character in Avengers Endgame? Right? Who is the best character in Avengers Endgame? Can you guys tell me? I'm just taking one example of a movie. Yeah, all of you guys were saying Iron Man. The reason, of course, Captain America is also a very good character, but one of the main weightage is actually given to this particular guy who's Robert Downey Jr. or Iron Man over here. The reason, he was the first person to actually start that particular group discussion, or not a group discussion, that movie. I'm sorry. He was the first person to start that movie, and he was also the last person who was actually shown in that movie. You see that funeral scene over there? He was also the last person. So whoever is the first person that you see in a group discussion, and whoever is the last person that you see in a group discussion, that person's face and feedback get registered in the invigilator's mind. Why am I saying this? Is because I have been an invigilator or a particular person who takes a lot of group discussion. Let's say I have been a particular person who takes a lot of interviews and a lot of process. When I've been associated with companies like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, American Express, Deutsche Bank, a lot of international companies as well. I have traveled across the country to take interviews for people. So I know what exactly that I'm actually looking for, how I evaluate, how people get registered in my mind. That's the reason why I say, make sure you are actually being the first person to start, be the last person to conclude. At the same time, use this particular spelt approach with a little bit of garnishing of all the other topics as well, right? With a bit of garnishing of all the other concepts as well. If you are able to do that, you are going to be the best person in that entire squad of group discussion. All right. Now, I'll open the mic for a couple of seconds over here. Do you guys have any doubts that you guys would like to ask? All right. Thank you for your feedback, sir. Any questions that you guys would like to ask, or should we move ahead? What do you guys say? Let me also take this as a small break for me to drink some water. Any doubts? So already many people are actually saying move ahead, move ahead. All right. All right. So viewers choice, I am moving ahead. All right. So great. Moving ahead over here. Strategies for personal interview. So you had followed all the strategies to actually excel extraordinarily well in your group discussion. Now you're actually in for your personal interview over here. Now, in your personal interview, the very first question that I actually have, does your external appearance matter for your placement? What is your opinion, guys? Does your external appearance matter for your interview? Does it matter for your placement? If you feel that yes it matters, give it as yes. If you feel no it doesn't matter at all, then say no. All right, we have yes, 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 yes. We have people saying obviously as well, people saying yes, a lot of people saying no as well over here. See people saying I think. All right, what about some, I mean, yeah, a few of you guys, more, little more. Can you guys give me some response? Oh, okay, okay, of course. Now, what I'm actually saying over here is, of course, your external appearance matters a lot for your placement. I am not talking about how handsome a boy look or how beautiful a girl look. That is not what I'm actually talking about. What I'm actually talking about is how that person is dressed or groomed. That is what is actually important when it actually, when I'm actually speaking about your external appearance. Now, people who said, maybe I'm actually redefining this concept for you guys. Yes, your external appearance matters a lot for your placement. I'm not talking about your beauty or your hands, how handsome a person looks. That is not what I'm talking about. How professionally the person is dressed up and how professionally the person is groomed. Now, if I to brush up few of these facts over here, let me just put it across this way. For guys, you will have to wear a black shoe or a brown shoe. You cannot wear sandals or sport shoes for your interviews. I mean, that doesn't look good, right? So wear a black leather shoe or a brown leather shoe, or if something looks like a leather, uh, a nice good formal trouser. It's not going to be a jeans pant, formal trouser. Your belt and your shoe is supposed to match. What I'm meaning is, if your shoe is black in color, your belt should also be black in color. If your shoe is brown in color, your belt should also be brown in color. Your shirt and your pant is supposed to be contrast. If your shirt is light, your pant is supposed to be dark, and if your pant is light, your shirt is supposed to be dark. All right, it should be a full hand shirt. Right, it's a very good it's a very good habit to actually wear a watch for your with your formals, because wearing watch means that you're someone who gives importance to time. Right, now coming to your face, of course, boys, we don't wear makeups and all these things. I mean, if you're someone who's interested in wearing good makeups, then that's perfectly fine. That's your opinion over here. uh, but do not overdo your makeups. And people might think that I am supposed to be clean shaved. uh, that is not exactly the norm right now, at least. You guys are allowed to have beard. That's perfectly fine if you guys are actually going for your personal interview with a bit of beard. But make sure that your beard is well groomed and well maintained. It should be combed. It should not be very long, like Sadhguruji of Isha Yoga. It should not be like that. It should be well groomed. If there should not be hairs poking up. For example, someone like me, for me it is religiously important for me to have beard. Right, I cannot shave my beard. I should always have my beard with me. Right, so someone like that, companies actually understands this, so they don't have any problem with you having beard. But if you're having your beard, just make sure that you have it well groomed. And then your hair, do not go with the spikes and funks and this pullingo style, they say. I'm not sure about what you call it. The different hairstyles that you actually have. Don't go with those hairstyles. Go with a very professional hairstyle. Coming to our girls over here. uh, Girls, I'm not going to talk about your dressing, because you guys know way better than me over here. But with respect to what I actually say is, you guys try to wear a light dress. When I say light dress, do not wear extremely colorful dresses. Right? Uh, do not wear extremely colorful dress. Try to go for a light dress over here. All right. Now, other than that, what I actually talk about is, do not have any religious marks on your forehead. Do not have any religious marks on your forehead and your hairstyles as well. Make sure that you are not going with free hair. You are having some sort of tie in your hair. I mean, you're putting a knot for your hair, going with a ponytail or something like that. Other than that, sari or salwar or western formals, whichever is actually suiting you, go ahead with that. All right. Now, next part, well articulated resume. uh, Majority of the students, when I actually go for a personal interview, majority of the students I reject because of their resume being not that great. See, a resume is kind of like your sales brochure. You are giving me that brochure saying that this person who is there in this particular brochure is highly talented, so get that person into your company. Right? So if that brochure is not attractive and lucrative for me, I might not recruit that person. And do not copy paste your resume from your friend. Many people I see copy their career objectives and their extracurricular co-curricular activities from their friends, and they just paste it, and they have no idea what is that in their resume. So do not copy paste your resume from your friend. Try to write it on your own. So having a well articulated resume, a resume should not be more than one side of an A4 sheet. All right. What I'm actually saying again is, a resume should not be more than one side of a, more than one side of a A4 sheet. If you have done a lot of activities in the past, then definitely, of course, you can actually have one extra side. You can go for an additional side, but don't make it go for more than two sides of an A4 sheet. All right. The most important question, right? The most important question, this is where majority of the candidates actually fumble. Okay, so I have the question box open over here. I have a few questions which I'm just seeing right now. uh, can you guys tell me what is the most important question in a placement interview or in a personal interview? Which is the most important question? Yeah, sir, my name is Kiran Sharma. My name is Kiran Sharma. Okay, why should I hire you? Tell me about yourself, introduce yourself. Okay. What about others? Is there any question that you guys would like to say? Why did you select this company? Okay. I might not be able to answer all these points for you guys because we are actually running short of time, because we have another maximum of 15 minutes time to cover. So let me just try to cover maximum amount of things over here. See, the most important question in a particular placement interview or a personal interview is going to be, tell me about yourself. There are two questions over here. One is tell me about yourself, and the second one is introduce yourself. All right. So these two questions are completely different. They are completely different. Right. Now, why I'm saying completely different is because an interviewer would ask you introduce yourself when the interviewer doesn't know anything about you. Okay. See, I'm pretty much sure you guys would have actually seen it. Before a particular company is going to come, the interviewer would have actually, the college would actually collect all your resumes, and they would actually give that to the interviewer, right? The HR. So that the HR actually has some time to actually go through your resume, which means by the time that you are actually there in front of the HR, the HR has already gone through your resume. So he or she knows a little bit about you. Now, when it comes to this part, when it is introduce yourself, the HR has not gone through your resume, which means he or she doesn't know anything about you. So in such situation, make sure that you are actually saying everything which is there in your resume. When the HR is asking you this question, tell me about yourself. This is a time where the HR asks you this question, is that the HR doesn't know anything about, I mean, the HR knows about you, what is mentioned in the resume, but wants to know more, right? So when you're answering for this question, tell me about yourself, don't mention anything which is there in your resume. Do not say anything which is there in your resume. If, for example, someone is going to ask me, Kiran, tell me about yourself, I would not even say my name. Sir, my name is Kiran. I won't say that also. I'll say, sir, if there are people who say 2 plus 2 is 4, I'll be one among those who say 5 minus 1 is also 4. That doesn't mean that I'm completely different from others. It's just that I have a point of thought which is out of the box. I actually think out of the box to solve a particular situation. This is how I will actually start. Okay, I mean, this has been my killer start for the past all these years of my professional career, and it has worked all these years. I've been redefining and I've been changing. I have around like 6 7 different ways of me telling about myself, so this is one among them. For you to actually create that wow in front of that HR, I want you guys to actually make sure that you guys are coming up with a killer tell about yourself pitch, which should be approximately 90 seconds long. I want you guys to write it down. don't copy this from your friends. This is because about yourself, so do not copy from your friends as well. All right. So other questions over here. Why should I select you? HR is asking you why the person is supposed to select you, is because the person is thinking whether to select you or not, because the person has not rejected you now. The person has not rejected, the person is still thinking, is this person going to do good for your company? So in such situation, you would have definitely done a bit of research about that particular company. You've done a bit of research about that company. In such situation, you can talk about what and all are the projects that the company is doing and how you can add value to that company. Don't compare yourself with people who are sitting outside. Don't do that, but rather say how you can add value to that particular company. Salaries and all, sir, normally they don't ask such questions, because I have personally never asked that question. But if someone asks you about salary, just be a Harichandran, or be a very good person with like a circle ring on your head, saying that, sir, it is not about salary I'm here, it is more about the kind of career that I'm actually going to have in your organization. Be very diplomatically say that you're not focused towards salary, rather you want to work in that company, right? Okay, you got a question saying that, are you money minded? Okay. uh Majority of us are actually money minded, of course. For example, even me, if I'm actually doing business over here, so this particular company, Skill Safari, is my own company over here, right? So I am definitely money minded. So if someone asks me, Kiran, are you money minded, I would say, sir, I am not someone who is actually very particular about money, but I am someone who gives importance to money, right? I know how to give respect to money. Just give the simple answer. Tell them, they will understand. If you just say that you respect money, but you don't see that money is everything. All right. Moving on over here, body language. So just like your group discussion over here, here also you're supposed to have a very good body language. Okay. Question and answers. You are definitely allowed to ask questions to your interviewer. You can definitely ask questions to your interviewer. Questions like, you can talk about what kind of projects you get to work on. You can maybe even ask about when can you expect the joining to happen, or you can talk about if you have any doubts regarding that particular role, you can ask that question to your HR. There is no problem with you asking questions. There is no problem at all. You can definitely ask questions. When you're giving an answer also, be very polite. Make a lot of sense when you're asking questions. Do not ask any kind of rubbish questions over here, right? Do not ask any kind of rubbish questions. Handshake. I have a question to you guys now. Are you allowed to have a handshake with the HR, right? Are you allowed to initiate a handshake with a HR? For people who say yes, I am allowed, say yes. For people who say no, you're not allowed, say no. All right, people are saying yes over here. Let me redefine the question for you guys over here. Are you allowed to have a handshake where you are extremely you know how do I put it, you are enthusiastic, right? You're highly enthusiastic, showing you're bold, you're ready, you're energetic, this kind of things? Or should you make the alpha in that particular room? The alpha is the leader in that particular room, to start a handshake. What do you guys think? You guys can even change your answer right now if you want to change it. Okay, we are I guess we already have a couple of people who already attended a particular webinar of mine. All right. Uh, I'll be frank to you guys. Please do not be the first person to start a handshake with your interviewer, right? Please do not be the first person to start a handshake with your interviewer. The reason being that our interviewer might not be as energetic and enthusiastic as you for that interview. Reason being that an interviewer takes approximately, let's say, what, like 50, 60 interviews on that particular day. He or she is not willing to shake hands with every single person. But an interviewer would only shake hands with that particular candidate whom he or she feels is okay. The person is actually talented. I'm impressed by this person. So never initiate a handshake with a HR. You're supposed to initiate a handshake with a HR. But if a HR is initiating a handshake with you, that shows you a particular, a cue that this HR is actually interested in you, right? This HR is interested in you, and you have very good chance of getting selected in that particular company. Okay, all right. Uh, Okay, you don't have handshake with someone you meet for the first time. That's fine. That's perfectly fine, right? So what I'm actually trying to say over here is you're not supposed to be the first person to initiate a handshake with your HR. Don't be the first person. So these are the strategies that are supposed to be done for your group discussion and personal interviews. We have around 5 minutes time open for questions. So I'll try to answer majority of your questions. If you have any questions, can you guys just send it across to me over here? I'll read those questions and answer them for you. Do you have any questions? So you're just repeating what I just said, sir. So I'm not explaining that. How to overcome nervousness during PI? So that's a common problem, sir. For example, I studied in a place where English was not that great, right? So I had to practice my communication. So because of which me going to stage and speaking with people was extremely difficult. Right now I would have given at least some thousand lectures in front of people. A thousand, I'm not over exaggerating it, I'm actually under exaggerating it. I've done more than thousand actually. So the thing over here is that you will have to practice things n number of times before you actually go for your personal interview or your group discussion. So make sure that you're practicing it. Practice would actually reduce majority of your fear. Of course, I just mentioned it would actually reduce your nervousness or your fear or whatever you're talking about. If I were to talk about eye contact, see, it's very difficult to actually make eye contact with people. Having eye contact with someone is actually very difficult. So, in a group discussion or a personal interview, I am not asking you guys to stare at someone's eye. Don't do that. Rather, just glance their face and move to someone else's face. That's what I'm actually saying. If it is one single interview, then you don't have any other choice but to just look at that person. If there are two or three people, if that's a panel interview, just move between people. Like look at one person for 5 seconds, then look at another person for 5 seconds, and then the third person for 5 seconds, and then do all over the same thing again and again. This is what you can actually do. You cannot ask about your salary and position, sir, because if you ask that, that would actually put you in a very compromising situation. Please do not start any conversation with respect to your salary or your positions. You can definitely ask the HR for your feedbacks. You can definitely do that, and the HR will be more than happy to share the feedbacks with you. Uh, the best self introduction that I can actually say over here is going to self introduction is going to be something like, for example, like whatever you see in your resume. You start with your name, then go with your education qualification. You can talk about what kind of career that you're looking for, and then you can actually even talk about what and all are your hobbies and why you have selected that particular hobby, why you like doing that particular hobby. So that itself would actually take a good 2 minute time. So that could be a good self introduction. Other than that, if it is tell me about yourself question that you're talking about, in that case, it's going to be very difficult for me to explain right now, because people to people things change. I cannot tell me about yourself to you guys, because my tell me about yourself answer defines me, not you guys. So for you yourself, I want you guys to figure out that particular answer. Oh, questions are flowing in, guys. I'm missing a lot of questions. uh, of course, ma'am, you will be notified once we are going to have another session, right? Of course, guys. If at all you guys have any doubts, also you guys can definitely ask me, right? You can definitely even ask me. That's not a problem at all. Please do not have any kind of initiate any kind of salary related conversation with your HR guys. Please do not do that. I can give you my email ID. I cannot give you my Instagram ID. I'm sorry. So my if at all you guys have any doubt, you guys can send across an email to admin at the rate skillsafari.in, admin at the rate skillsafari.in. The same time, whatever is the the webinar notification mail that you have received, in that itself you would actually have the email ID, so you can actually send a reply to that as well. Uh, the interviewer is supposed to question you, ma'am. So I don't know why you're asking me. Why is the interviewer questioning you? Um, I'm not sure about the question over here. If you could be more elaborate. Any other question, guys? Yes, I'm the founder of Skill Safari. Yes, I'm not the founder. I'm the co-founder of Skill Safari. So we are two people who started this. Any other question that you guys would like to ask? If you do not have any other question, guys, then I would actually call this as a wonderful opportunity to meet you guys all today. All right, we have more questions over here. Okay. See, there are hundreds of job outside. Okay, there are hundreds of job outside. It's just that you will have to find that particular job. There are a lot of startups. For example, my company itself, we are actually on completely recruiting people as well. But we are not recruiting right now. We used to recruit. Considering the situation, we have paused this recruitment process. But all the companies out there are continuously recruiting people. So finding a job is not that difficult at all, so you don't have to worry about finding a job. It's just that you need to have that quality or that skill set to get that job. More precisely speaking, India is a country where more than 1.5 million students, I'm just talking about engineering students, more than 1.5 million engineering students pass out as engineers, right? In such case, what actually happens is that only 30% of them are actually getting good job. The remaining 70% of them are not getting jobs. So the remaining 70% of them, many of them plan for doing higher studies, many of them get into BPO jobs, many of them some few of them might get into entrepreneurship and all those things. A few of them might actually wander around till they find any low paying jobs. But India is again the same country where every year there are more than 2.5 vacant jobs available. So there is more jobs than the number of students available, but these jobs are not getting filled. The reason being that they are not able to find the adequate capable candidate to get into their particular system. So it is up to you to actually upskill yourself and go for that job. My name is Kiran Sharma. Tell me about tell me about yourself. Is that an interview question that you're asking, or is it like generally you want to know about me? I don't know what you're asking over here. The feedback link will be shared with you, ma'am. In the meantime, you can also, send it as an email to us. We'll be more than happy to read it. In fact, I'll be the one personally reading every single mail that you are actually sending as a feedback. So I will definitely respond to your feedback as well. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Guys, if there are no other questions, then I guess we can call it as a wonderful Saturday evening. And I wish you guys a happy Sunday. Have a safe and safe and beautiful Sunday with your family. Uh, so, people, you guys can start leaving this particular session. Class dispersed. Feedback form. You can actually send it as an email to us if you feel like sharing any particular feedback with us. You can definitely share it as an email with us. We do not as such have a form to share. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I'm sorry I cannot share this particular PPT with you, but I can definitely share this particular video, recorded video with you to your email ID. What you can actually do is request for this recorded session. I can share it with you. I can give a link where you can actually watch this video. So this email ID, I might not be able to share the PPT, but you can just send an email to admin@skillsafari.in requesting for this recording session, mentioning this particular session. I will share the recording with you. Definitely, we'll do more sessions, sir. If you're doing more sessions, you will definitely be intimated as well. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I can actually see that you're here for the second time. I recognized your name. So I have a good, memory with respect to name. So I saw this name and I felt like I already seen you somewhere. So there are people who are attending this session for the second time as well. I mean, that's very humbling and making me very happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's correct. That's the email ID. Admin@skillsafari.in. That's because that's the exact same webinar over here, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Then I guess I'll close this webinar over here because we have another webinar which is actually scheduled to happen in another 15 minutes time. Please do visit our websites because we do schedule a lot of webinars every now and then. So you being updated with our website might actually give you guys a lot of insights about what and all other different webinars that we are conducting. All right, thank you very much, guys. Happy Sunday. Right, bye bye. Jai Hind. The upcoming events email ID, yes, we can actually share it with you, not a problem at all.